So I'm Liam Holiday, born and bred in the northeast of England, live in Washington all my life. I'm 36 years of age now, and I've recently moved into Newcastle upon Tyne. Yeah, so family structure for me has been what you would class as a normal northeast England sort of upbringing. Mum and dad, brother and me, so the four of us have always lived together. Still a strong knit family. I've moved out from the family home, my brother's moved out of the family home. My dad, he has always been a Catholic. My mum, she's always been Protestant. I think that was probably one of the reasons why religion's never been pushed heavily upon us, but I was christened. I believe during growing up of the early age, I was a Christian. There was no other way of looking at it. My dad definitely was a Catholic. My mum was Protestant. I was Catholic at that point in time of growing up. So my mum and dad obviously followed Christianity and different methods of Christianity, and I think the way they looked at religion definitely changed the way I looked at religion. So a story that my mum always told me was when they were getting married and my mum explained to her mum they were getting married, the first thing that my grandparents said was, "You're not getting married in a Catholic church." And I think from that moment, I think my mum and dad realised there's no way that we're going to put that much pressure on our children of what they're going to do and believe in. So although my mum and dad still have their beliefs, they've never made me go to church, they've never made me practice in the way you would think was a strict Christian. Yes, I was christened. Yes, that was the normal thing to do, kind of thing. Has it lost its reasons going through the generations? Perhaps. Or people just doing it because they want to get their kids into a certain school? Who knows the real reasons why people are doing it? But certainly at the time of growing up, I was Christian, and my parents were, if you want to follow it, you're more than welcome to. If you don't, we're not going to really challenge you on it, but we're not going to question you why you're not doing it either. So the reason that I think my parents genuinely believe in religion is because they believe in the afterlife. They believe there's something out there which is more than what we are on earth today. We lose loved ones. We say they've gone to another place, they've gone to a better place. They're still with us, but they've gone for a better journey at that point in time. And at that point in time, I still believed that we were going somewhere, that there was a point in life that we were going to get to somewhere after we passed away. Religion was always there. You were taught it in school. You had Christmas, you had Easters, you had all of that. As I started to get a little bit older and started to work out why are we doing this, what was it for, my perception started to change quite a lot, because nobody was doing Christmas for the celebration of Jesus Christ's birthday. Nobody. All my friends and family, perhaps with the exception of my grandparents. But we were certainly celebrating the gifts. We were celebrating the presents. We were celebrating the coolest new phone, the coolest new skateboard, however young I was, kind of thing. It certainly wasn't, let's go to church and let's pray and let's celebrate the life of the God or the prophet or whoever Christianity was believing in at that point in time. So I think watching that get diluted over the years made me dilute my belief. Christianity's not for me. I'd probably become a non-believer at that point in time. It was like, well, everybody's doing it for the gimmick. Everyone's doing it for the merchandise, Easter. Who does that right in my clique of people? Well, nobody. Everybody does it for the Easter eggs. Everybody does it for the new clothes. Everybody does it for the long Easter weekend from work, kind of thing. And at the age of sort of 11, 12, 13, 14, I'm starting to think to myself, well, people are just doing it for a laugh. People are making money out of this. People are making Christmas cards. People are making Easter cards. People are selling Easter, Christmas related things. That's not about religion. That's about making a profit. And I think at that point, it was certainly sort of that kind of age. Religion to me wasn't what it was. So starting to grow up, getting to the age of sort of 14, 15, 16, I didn't really have a religion at all. I didn't care about looking into any other religions. And it was probably when I got a lot older, I was probably talking maybe mid-20s, when the media was so big and so pushy towards and negative towards Islam and Muslims. And everything that was bad in the world, it was a terrorist act because of a Muslim, terrorist attack because of somebody who followed Islam. And at that point in time, I didn't turn and follow the media and say, I don't like Muslim, I don't like somebody who follows a different religion. I questioned, why would somebody follow this kind of religion? And deep down, I couldn't believe that there's a religion out there that said, go out and do these bad crimes, go out and jump on a plane and crash it into a building. I couldn't believe that people would be taught to do that. And I thought, at the time, I think there was maybe 1.2 billion people who followed Islam at the time. And I was like, there's no way, if all of these people wanted to go and bomb a building or do something, the world would be a disaster. There's too many people following a particular set of guidelines to destroy us. And it was that which really made me think, well, I'm going to find out what this is all about. Why is the media so against it? Why are so many people following it? And I think it was through that period of my time that it became quickly apparent that in the Quran it mentions nothing of what the media think or want you to think that it does. And that was a huge eye-opener for me. That made me dislike the media even more. You know what I mean? It's pure lies, it's pure storytelling, and it's pure what is going to get a headline, and which just isn't right in my eyes. And that drove me more and more. That made me want to learn more about this religion. Why on earth is there so many people so strongly believed, still go to mosque, still believe in it, even though if you're of a certain colour skin, going onto a plane, you're going to get searched even more. Why would you still say, I am Muslim? And I think it was that belief of all these other people that didn't allow the media and didn't allow this small minority. It has to be a small minority, because if it was any bigger, the world would be over. So the small minority of people who were taking the religion, twisting it, doing it wrong. And I felt for those people. I felt sorry for them at first. It was like, well, how can they do it? But then also I realised how strong they are, and their belief must be so strong, and the reason for belief must be overpowering. And it was at that time that I really started my research and really understood what Islam was all about. To find my research and to learn about Islam, the age I am, internet was everywhere. People didn't really go out and ask questions. You just went to Google, and YouTube was my source of information. It was great. It told me some really good, interesting things. Of course, there's negative things out there, and I watched both. The negative ones, I wanted to find out why they were saying that, what part, and quite often they were taking a single sentence of the Quran, or they were taking a single action that somebody did, and they weren't looking at the bigger picture. So when you research into that element a little bit further, the Quran's all about being nice to one another, it's all about loving one another, it's all about treating each other equal, to the point where the media leads you to believe that women should be treated differently to men. Men are the superior, women are not to be thought about, not to be spoken to, they should be beat, they should be left to their own devices kind of thing, they shouldn't work. But reading and doing the research into the Quran mentions man and woman exactly the same amount of times. It says to treat women as equal, teach women equal, teach men the same. A man should teach a woman. If a woman knows something, they should teach a man. And for me, understanding and realising that the Quran was written in such a way, how on earth can the media twist that? It's because they don't look at it fully. What the media portray is culture. It's not the religion. And that's where I started realising that there's going to be lots of Christians, but because you live in Newcastle, you might be a Christian slightly different to somebody who lives in America, for example, and that's because you brought up. You have a different colour skin because of where you live, the pigmentation in your skin, the sun that you're exposed to, the food that you eat changes the way you look, the way you feel. There's so many different things that isn't religious. It's just about where you are in the world, and that's what it does. So for me, that research really hit home that, look, this is an equal religion, this is a loving religion, this is a make yourself a better person religion. And the bit which really hit home about the man and woman was, how on earth could the media make you believe that a person wrote this and write exactly the same over hundreds of pages of documentation, write exactly the same? They didn't have spell check, they didn't have a computer. A human couldn't have wrote that in such a way that the media would expect you to believe that it was a fake sort of man-made book. So I think knowing that the Quran's telling us to be equal, I think that was the big moment for me, which really hit home that this is more than just a speculative religion. My research in Islam started in 2015, and that was the point where I thought there was something more. Media was forcing me to look at a particular religion, and it took me a year of real research, and it wasn't just every now and then, it was every day. I was looking, new video, following different people, following different places, and following different things. It was all just online. It was all one way. It wasn't me talking to anybody. It was all just information from different people. And I quickly learned some people were trustworthy. Some people had an agenda on their YouTube channel, and some people were genuinely telling it how it was. And I think it was that mix of different opinions which really helped me to get to where I was in believing that actually there is something more to this. So after a year of doing that research, I decided, you know what, I believe in this. I believe in the core values of the faith. I believe in the rights of doing this. I believe that there is something after life, but after reading and doing all this research, I now believe the reason I'm doing it for is for Allah. And He is the creator of everything. And if I follow the rules and the guidelines and the steps which He's put out before us, then that is the reason why I'm doing this. So at that point, so 2016, I said the Shahada, said it, learned it. It was actually an Australian guy on a YouTube channel. He was an imam, in my opinion. He could have been anybody, but from the YouTube channel, he was an imam. He said, this is how you do the Shahada. I recited it following him doing that on the YouTube channel. And at that point in time, I'm Islam, I'm Muslim, I'm following the faith, that I'm doing everything, in my opinion. At that point in time, I began praying at that point in time. I began doing Ramadan at that point in time as well. But again, it was all just myself. I wasn't going with anybody, and I still continue to learn, I still continue to watch YouTube videos, and I was probably another year into that process, so 2017. And I come across a video that I hadn't seen before on YouTube, which there wasn't many at that point in time because I genuinely was watching a lot online. And this one video was somebody similar to me. He hadn't reverted, he wasn't actually a Muslim, but he had seen negative media, he had seen negative information, and he decided, same as what I did, decided, well, why are so many people following this? Why are people going to mosques and so on? And he wanted to go into mosques to see where was the terrorist class, where was the badness, where was the evil stuff going on. He went in to, I can't remember how many mosques, but 3-4 different mosques, and in each one, every time he went in, it was quiet. There was a couple of brothers in there, and every time they said Assalamu alaikum, every time. Shook his hand, welcomed him in, and he said, I've never been here before, I've got a secret camera on. They don't know who I am, but they're saying hello to me. Okay, I'll just wait, maybe I'll see where the classroom is in a second. And every time people were just reading what they wanted to read, people were praying, people were learning, people were being nice to one another. And there was just modest, nice people in every single mosque. And like I say, he went to 3-4 different mosques, and it was exactly the same. And he done it just to prove the media were wrong. He wanted to go and do his own media research. And it was that video that made me pluck up the courage to reach out to a mosque. I didn't have enough courage to go into a mosque myself at that point in time, but again, reached out over Facebook of all things to Newcastle Central Mosque and said, look, I'm a revert, I'm from Newcastle. lived here all my life, but a year ago I've decided I am following Islam, and I want to do more. What can I do? And I spoke to Imam Abdul Basit, and he invited me down to the mosque. We had a chat before we went into the mosque, and I said my shahada with him because I said, look, I don't know if I've said it right. And he talked me through. I wanted to understand my core beliefs, wanted to understand why I was doing this, wanted to understand how I'd get into where I did. So I just explained all of that to him. We said the shahada. Next thing, he's rushing me down down the corridor, down towards the mosque, and I didn't really know what was going on. He's like, it's Maghrib time. We've got to get down. I'm actually doing Maghrib prayer, and I'm like, oh, right, okay. So I just followed, and the next thing, I'm at the front of the mosque, shoulder to shoulder with a whole load of other brothers who are all saying Assalamu alaikum, all welcome me in, never seen me before, and there was maybe 30, 40 people in the mosque that day, and there was people of all skin colour, which was a big eye-opener to me. Again, media have done a good presence on you. You think you're going to be brown-skinned to be Muslim. It's absolutely not the truth. Skin colour doesn't come into it. It's your belief. It is what we are. We've been created all equal. It's different factors that have caused different cultures, different skin colours, different sizes, different weights, different hair colour. It's all that which has changed. It's not the inner belief. You can go to Australia and follow Islam. You can go to America, follow Islam. You can go to a country in the middle of nowhere where they only see 5 people a year and you follow Islam. It should all be exactly the same, no matter where you go, no matter what colour skin you are, no matter what accent or language you use, it should be the same. So the Imam at Newcastle taking me into Newcastle Mosque was great, and one of the first few people who spoke to me was a white Geordie, a guy from Newcastle, come over, Assalamu alaikum brother, welcome, shook my hand, and it was great just hearing an accent that was the same as my accent, skin colour the same skin colour as mine, and every person in that room, in that mosque was welcoming me, and I prayed for the first time with people, and that again was a big changer. So moving on from that point, the brother who I met, he invited me along to the classes there, the new Muslim classes with the IDC, and it was there that my learning accelerated. I went along to the classes, another year of classes, but this year was completely different to the online YouTube learning that I was doing. I learned a lot more in such a short space of time. We were doing one class for an hour a week, and it wasn't a case of getting preached to, it was a case of open forum. It was, this is the class, this is what we're going to teach you today, but we're going to talk about it, we're going to see why do we think it's like this, we're going to prove the chain of truth, we're going to prove that this is why we believe this is why it's come about in a certain way. And it was great because there was people who've been studying the belief for shorter than me, longer than me, and we've all got different views. But again, having the experience from the IDC leaders and the new Muslim revert leaders, it was great to have their full years of knowledge and pass that experience and ask questions and not feel silly about asking the question either. YouTube, you wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't put a comment on YouTube. I just accept what they're saying and find another video. Whereas in this forum, it was so much better. Looking back over how I've gotten to where I am and how my beliefs have grown and the age that I am, looking back, I always knew there was something more to life, even at the point when I thought there wasn't something more to life. Deep down, if I really thought about it, I always thought there was an afterlife. I always thought there's something more there. Anybody who's watching or wanting to learn more about Islam or has that sort of belief somewhere, what I wish I did a little bit earlier was come and speak to the local mosque. Come and learn more. Don't fear what you don't know. Fear what you don't know because you don't know. Go and learn. Go and learn about that side of things. Go and find out more information. Educate yourself. And if you educate yourself and you find that you don't believe, I'm not sure how you would, but come and do that. Put yourself in that position. YouTube videos, yes, they're a good start, but for me, they're not the right type of information. They're too one-sided. You don't know what people's agendas are. Definitely come and speak to somebody local. Come and speak to somebody who you can see how they go about life. After the IDC classes, we went out for meals, we went out for pizzas, we prayed together afterwards as well. We done Isha prayer together. It was great. I didn't have that watching the YouTube videos. I would watch 15 minutes and then move to the next one. And you never know whether they're telling the truth. You don't know why that. You don't know the setup. You don't know if it's being audited. You don't know if it's being ran or if there's other people who will challenge their beliefs. It's just one person behind a camera at that point in time. So I wish I'd just come to the mosque sooner at 15, 16, 17. At that point in time, didn't have to wait until I wanted to prove a point against media. So everybody comes into religion from different points. Some people are born into it and the parents are very strict in terms of, you will learn this, whether it's the right reasons they're teaching them or whether it's the wrong reasons they're teaching them. Some people are born into it. Other people may have been born into no religion and just had no beliefs, had no structure in life, didn't know where to go. And then there's people who, similar to me, have had a religious belief, but not a strongly pushed religious belief, and eventually found their own way. So I think, in my opinion, learning what I've learned, I think culture is a huge thing. And I think from speaking to some people and some brothers my age, they've found themselves now, at my age, even though they've been in religion all of their life, they've always been a Muslim, they've always believed in it, they've always done Ramadan, they've always had Eid. But as they're at my age and they come to the mosque more, they're generally saying they've reverted, they've come back, they've found the love for the beliefs again. And I've got one brother at the mosque who says, I've been a Muslim for longer than him, even though he was born into the religion. And it's because he genuinely didn't believe in it. He almost rebelled against his parents. And I think as the generations get older and that pressure dilutes, unfortunately, but in the right way, that pressure dilutes of religion, I think we all will find our own inner beliefs. Reverts, I think reverts probably have it a little bit easier, especially if they haven't had the pressures of a parent saying come a particular way. My friends, they are similar. They haven't had any pressures of beliefs. They've also been brought up open-minded. So when I come out to my friends, my workplace, and say, yeah, don't get me wrong, I don't go and shout every day I'm Muslim, but it's apparent when you go away to pray, or it's apparent that you're not having an alcoholic drink, or it's apparent that you're doing Ramadan and things like that. People find out, and everybody's really acceptant. It's absolutely fine. It's such an open-minded world. So I think a revert, and especially if you've been brought up in that environment, is a lot easier. Probably harder to find the religion from the people who I've spoken to, or people who are born into the religion, who are forced and don't know it any other way. I think it's harder for those guys to really find their own belief and step away and challenge the thoughts of the parents of whether or not they do want to believe. And the guys that I've spoken to, the brothers that I've met and learned along the way, they absolutely have found the right way and found what their inner beliefs are. Probably the biggest lesson that I've learned in this whole journey of where I am today is don't believe everything you hear. The media's not true. Culture isn't true. My family now, today, I'm married now. I have a born Muslim wife. Even her family are learning little pieces from me. We got married 2 years ago. We had our nikah 2 years ago. And at that time, Imam Abdul was saying to my father-in-law, that's culture. I'm not doing that at the nikah, it's culture. And even my father-in-law was like, right, okay, even I'm 60 years of age and I'm still learning. And we've been to the mosque together a lot of times, and it's great just seeing how he does things and how he learns, and I'm learning from him now, but also he likes seeing how I'm doing things. And when I was going, some of the stories that I've mentioned from the class, he likes learning from that as well. But the big thing is, you can't let that cloud your judgment. Don't let other people cloud your judgment. Don't let how someone's upbringing's going to affect you.